think interesting story in the Quran about someone who has been through a lot of trauma, a lot of difficult situations, we're going to call it, and Allah helps them reframe their past so they can step up for the future, is Musa alayhi salam. Okay, so if I didn't tell you who he was, okay, here's a child, grew up in a domestically abusive household. His father was a tyrant. He, in his teens and 20s, he murders someone by mistake. He happens to be a bit reactive, jumps into situations he shouldn't be jumping into, gives someone an uppercut, boom, the guy's dead. Okay, flees the country. He's on a wanted list. He lands this is not many people think the stories of prophets is a Disney happily ever after. No, this is a very difficult situation, very difficult, a coming of age story of someone who's been through a lot of difficulty. Yusuf alayhi salam, most, if not all, the prophets. So Musa alayhi salam gets to this point, right, where he's spent 10 years in Madian. So one of the things is, in order to process, sometimes you have to get out of the bad environment. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sends him to Madian, peaceful place, clucking chicken, buying goats, and a mentor who is a prophet. According to some interpretation, it's Prophet Shu'aib alayhi salam is the one who welcomes him into Madian, and he's employed by him and under his apprenticeship for 10 years. But there's nothing exciting happening. It's just 10 years to process and learn and develop and sharpen the saw, as people say. So now Musa alayhi salam is coming back, on his way back, and then he sees the burning bush, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala begins to reveal to him and speak to him. Now, a prophet, you'd assume, and now he's at the age of 40, he's reached his peak. You'd assume Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would reveal to him, Musa alayhi salam, this is your job, Bismillah, let's go. And he'd say, where do I get started? But he doesn't say that. 3 times he says, I'm scared. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, Musa, go face Fir'aun. He goes, Inni akhafu an yukadhibun. I'm scared they won't accept me. وَيَضِيقُ صَدْرِي وَلَا يَنْطَلِقُ لِسَانِي. And I'll get stage fright. I won't be able to speak. I'll freeze. So I need Harun. وَلَهُمْ عَلَيَّ ذَنْبٌ فَأَخَافُ أَنْ يَقْتُلُونَ. And remember, there was a manslaughter case against me. I'm scared that they're going to kill me. I'm scared 3 times. So obviously the fear of the past and of that scary place that he came from, it's overwhelmed him. So how does Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala settle him down and give him that strength to go forward? Allah tells him his whole life story again, play by play. All right, Musa, let me tell you your life story. وَلَقَدْ مَنَنَّا عَلَيْكَ مَرَّةً أُخْرَى. This what I've just given you is a blessing. This mission I've given you to go and face the Pharaoh of Egypt, it's not a test, it's a blessing. But I've blessed you before. All the events you've had in your life, I'm going to tell you again the story. إِذْ تَمْشِي أُخْتُكَ فَتَقُولُ هَلْ أَدُلُّكُمْ عَلَى مَنْ يَكْفُلُهُ. Remember when your sister ran next to you in the river, and I sent her to go in the palace and say, hey, I know someone who's going to be his nurse mother. You could have not had the sister. You could have not been reunited with your mother. فَرَدَدْنَاكَ إِلَىٰ أُمِّكَ كَيْ تَقَرَّ عَيْنُهَا وَلَا تَحْزَنْ. You might have thought being flung into a river was a terrible test, but actually, I protected you through your sister. I returned you to your mother so she could be happy. وَقَتَلْتَ نَفْسًا. Remember, you killed somebody by mistake. فَنَجَّيْنَاكَ مِنَ الْغَمِّ. But I saved you from the punishment and the consequence that would have come with that. So it's not you were in a river, you grew up in a domestically abusive household. It's I looked after you, I protected you, I've been by your side all this time.
Despite those things.
Yeah. You need to see the silver lining. I've been looking after you this whole time. وَفَتَنَّاكَ فُتُونَا. And then Allah says, I tested you again and again. Why did you test me, Ya Rabb? وَاصْطَنَعْتُكَ لِنَفْسِي. I chose you for this path. I custom made these experiences so you could be here this day today. You have nothing to fear. I prepared you. You are ready. Go. But you won't be ready because you'll be stuck in fear unless you go back to the events of your life and you reprocess them with the lens of the names of Allah. اذهب أنت وأخوك بآياتي ولا تنيا في ذكري. Go. You and your brother, you're ready. Go, but don't forget to remember me constantly. اذهبا إلى فرعون إنه طغى. Go to Fir'aun. He's crossed all the limits. So Musa alayhi salam, he's been through a lot, and the prophets have a human element to them, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has to tell him the entire life story again to cause him to come out of his trauma. And there's another couple of things, like training to overcome the trauma. Allah asks him, what's in your right hand? قال هي عصاي أتوكأ عليها وأهش بها على غنمي ولي فيها مآرب أخرى. This is my stake, I rely on it, I do this, I do that. I need it for so many things. Okay, so you're dependent on it, right? قال ألقها يا موسى. Chuck it away. The thing that you depend on every day, I want you to get rid of it. Isn't that scary? So if I told you right now, chuck your phone out the window, you'd be like, bro, SMS, WhatsApp, Discord, Slack, like emails, invoices. That's what Allah asked him to do. You need the stick for so many things. Get rid of it. فَأَلْقَاهَا فَإِذَا هِيَ حَيَّةٌ تَسْعَى. It turns into a snake. Allah says, grab the snake now. So first, I want you to let go of the things you depend on so you can trust me. You have to learn not to depend on these things, but depend on me. And the second thing, you have to learn to grab the snake, because I'm going to put a lot of scary things in your path. And if you're constantly hesitant, you're not going to succeed. You need enough trust of me to grab the snake. I'm giving you a guarantee it will be fine. So when he sees the snake, what does Musa alayhi salam do? He legs it. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, come back. Why are you getting scared? Grab the snake. Trust me. The way out of trauma is to reframe your past and connect it and understand Allah's lutf and His subtlety and His mercy always enveloped you the whole way. And then to learn to let go of the things you depend on, the people you depend on, the processes, the validation from social media, all the things we depend on emotionally, and learn to trust Allah. Once you have that, you have the superpower that enabled the prophets to conquer the tyrants of their time.
SubhanAllah. Wow.